Today I've got for you the Volkswagen Golf GTI. Now I've driven a ton of GTIs, but I haven't driven the Mark 8 Golf, which is what this is, the newest Golf, which I think came out in about 2020. And this is the GTI. I certainly haven't had a go in this, so I thought I'm here at Volkswagen headquarters, and I thought let me borrow the car, let me take it out, let me do a quick review of the car whilst I've got it. And what I'll do is I'll have a quick look around the car. I'll give you some specs. In fact, I'll give you those now. So this is basically the 2-litre TFSI. It's got 245 brake horsepower, 7-speed DSG automatic. This is the model year 23. You can see that from the number plate, actually. On the road price for this is just under £40,000. So it's 39,800 or so, around that. This car, I'll tell you, it's got a few options on it. So this is closer to £45,000 for this car. So as I said, it's got 245 horsepower, which gives it 0 to 62 miles per hour acceleration in about 6.2 seconds, and it will reach I think it's a limited 155 miles per hour. It's also got 273 pounds-feet of torque, and the miles per gallon, I can tell you, combined is 39.8, so that's actually not too bad. So let's have a quick look around it. We don't need to go too much detail into the Mark 8 Golf. It's been out for a while, so I'll just give you a quick snapshot, and the main thing is take it for a drive and see if it still feels like a GTI. Let's have a quick look at the boot. Not bad, practical, about what you'd expect. Space saver spare in there, which is unusual these days. Split folding seats, and of course a ski slot, I think, as well there. What else we got? We've got lights, we've got hooks. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all you need. Okay, let's see what it's like in the back. Well, of a Mark 8 Golf GTI, although this one has got obviously sports seats. So I like these little pockets in the back here. That's quite nice. And you've actually got vents back here. It's not too bad, actually. I mean, this is okay. Yeah, move that up a bit. That's fine. And you got armrests with the sort of 2 cup holders and one kind of, I don't know what that's meant to be. I wonder if you can get some kind of a bottle into there, but it's not too bad, actually. I mean, you got a sunroof there, you got your own reading lights here. Do you have any? Oh yes, you have 2 USB-Cs as well down there. If I can, might have to go upside down. There you go. You can see those. But and you got top tether. You got tether for the Isofix Chelsea anchor points for the front seat as well as the seat. I like the sort of traditional, you know, the classic upholstery type of pattern there. So that's quite good. The red on the seats matches the red of the exterior. It's not too bad, actually. Headroom's not too bad. Knee room, it's okay, it's tolerable. Foot room is not too bad at all. I mean, I could go short distance in this, but I'm a bit tall. This seat is set for me, 6'2" with long legs. So, but for normal people, not too bad. Time to get in the front. Brown car guy. Okay, here we are. Check that out. Welcome. Oh wow, look at that. I haven't even started it yet, but it's all come to light. It's all come to life, I should say. Anyway, so there you go. We are in the Volkswagen Golf GTI. Shall I start it up? Okay, the starter button is here. This is all very new Volkswagen. So if you're a traditional GTI owner, then this is a bit, I wonder if that says Golf there. That's quite nice. And this is, yep, that's a wireless charging space there, but there's also a cable as well, a USB-C and a connector there. And let's start it up. Let's see what it does. Oh, engine. Engine noise. That's good, isn't it? GTI! Just in case you forgot what you bought, yeah? Loading settings. So right here you got cup holder, some cubby box space here. You got cubby box itself there. The stereos come on. Let's get rid of that. See, controls are on the steering. They're kind of the haptic touch kind of thing. You touch them. They're touch buttons, but you get a kind of feedback as well. So the haptic touch sort of thing. I guess that's for the screen. That's for the, I'm guessing that's for the cruise control. I ain't got a lot of time with the car today, so I'm just going to run through things very quickly. But a lot of it is very familiar. I mean, if you're familiar with Volkswagens, then you'll be familiar. There's some set routes on there. So that's just the nav. And is there a home screen for this? There must be, surely. This is the climate control. Mode. What's the mode? Ah, sport. So you got eco, comfort, sport, individual. You can set your whatever you like on the individual. Okay, so we can do that as well. And you go back there. And then what else have you got on here? Ah, there you go. That's the home button there. So you got music, radio, telephone, vehicle settings, exterior, interior, comfort light. So that's all of that sort of stuff. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's mood lighting, I guess, you know. So go back to that. You got what else have you got on here? Oh, that's a nice screen to have, isn't it? That's a nice sort of home screen to have there. And then you got your trip meter as well. So what you've done and all the rest of it uses. So it depends on who's connected to it. But we'll go into navigation because we'll use that later on. There's a sort of pen thing there. There's your auto handbrake, e-brake, whatever you want to call it. Parking button is there, and then that just is for your selection. So again, very nice bucket seats with the typical GTI logo and the sort of pattern or the sort of pattern that we're familiar with. It's got 18-inch alloy wheels, the Richmond designed alloy wheels on here. What options has it got? Dynamic chassis control, DCC, variable suspension settings with choice of modes. Individual modes allows fine-tuning of dampers with 15 different settings. That will set you back 875 pounds. Sounds like you got to have that. Sounds like that's something that you want. Rear view camera, that's always handy. Alternative alloy wheels. Also, this has got the actually 19-inch wheels on this one. So it's got the Adelaide Black diamond wheels. So this has got the optional 19s instead of the standard 18s. They're 820 pounds. You got Space Saver that we saw in the back. That's 110 pounds. Winter pack 315. Panoramic roof, well, not really, just a sunroof, I would say. That's £1,000. Oh, that's not really worth it. I wouldn't bother with that. Then you got the tracker system. So that's total of 44,800, 45,000 pounds. Okay, you know what? Let's take it for a drive. A brown car guy. Okay, so let's stick this into drive, take it for a short run, and see what it's like. Well, so, I mean, we've got it in sports mode. That much we know. We've got the paddle shifts right here. I guess if you do that, you've got D, so if you just flick on the lever, then you get the sports modes. It's as simple as that. Pretty much everything is straightforward. I mean, you know, to be honest with you, the fact is that everything is very familiar, and that's important, I guess, very much for certainly somebody who wants a GTI. You want that familiarity. You want it to be something that you get in, it fits like a glove, you straight away know where everything is, and you can just focus on the main part of what a GTI should be about, which is the driving. And hopefully we'll find some roads that might be good enough for us to give it a try. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, little boominess to it, a little bit of a grunt, little boominess to it. Now, think about the fact that it says 6.2 seconds, which back in the day for a Golf GTI would be like, yeah, 6.2, that's pretty quick. But, you know, don't forget the day we live in an era of, you know, family SUV EVs doing 0 to 62 in under 4 seconds. So, you know, it's not a lot really by today's standards. And, you know, you're talking that sort of money really. When you talk about 40 grand, 45 grand, that's the sort of money that you'd be paying for those EVs as well. But of course, it's a petrol car, which is what a lot of people would want from their GTI. But is the performance enough? Well, now it's all a bit more subjective. Now we have to take away the academic side of it, you know, looking at stats on a paper and going, well, what does it feel like? So we're doing about 70 now. Let's slow it down a bit, get to about 65, knock it down right into manual. So you go from 4. Takes a few seconds, few moments for it to kick in, for the torque to come in, and then really it starts to get going. The paddle shifts are very, very quick. 6, I don't really need 6. Let's keep it in 5th. So we got 6. What we got? 7 speed. Of course, it's 7 speed. I said earlier, didn't I? But I think that's what it's about. It's about the sensation of it rather than the outright sort of speed that you're looking for. That's kind of what we're trying to see here, is that do we still have the sensation of, you know, it being a GTI. So the brakes are good. There's not a lot of travel actually. There's not, second gear, right? It's really, we're getting some nice movement. Good accurate steering. Nice. And you get throttle response is fantastic. You can really hear the engine humming and purring. It's doing its thing. It's loving it. I'm loving it. This is what it's all about. Steering is a bit lighter than I would like, but fairly accurate. Not a lot of play. So yeah, I mean, it is like quite responsive. But the whole thing is very reassuring. It's a very planted, very solid package, just as you would expect, I guess, from a Volkswagen GTI. This is kind of what you want, really. How about the ride? The ride actually is very good. I mean, it's firm. You can feel it's firm, and you're getting a little bit of vibration through, from the ground, so you can feel what the surface is like. But overall, I mean, it's not like rock hard. It's very comfortable. Similarly, I would say the seats. I mean, I'm sitting quite upright here. You might want to move it back a little bit. Actually, I think I will move it back just a tad. Actually, that's not the right lever, is it? Ah, there we go. Ah, yes, that's a bit better now. So just move the backrest back a little bit, and that's much better. But the seating position is very good. There's good leg room, good foot room, no issue whatsoever. Good headroom, plenty of that. Visibility all around is great. The mirrors work very well. I mean, the rear window as well is a decent size, so that's not an issue either. So yeah, I mean, it's this is the thing about the GTI. It's a practical hatchback. That's the thing to remember. Yes, it's a sporty car, but above all, it's a practical hatchback. It's one of the biggest selling hatchbacks in Europe. The thing about the Golf GTI, of course, is that you may say, well, it's a lot of money. It's become really expensive now. But then, what else is there? There used to be a time when you used to say GTI, oh, you could have that, or you could have that, and that's the same, and that's the same. Like, the Focus is gone. The Civic Type R is now moved into a completely different, it's like 10 grand more than this. So that's moved into a sort of different era by itself. And you just think, well, what really is there that you've got, that's petrol, that's hatchback, that gives you this sort of performance and style and fun. And there isn't actually that much in it. So it's almost like, okay, well, it's almost like they can ask more money for it, because this is pretty much all you've got, And maybe the A-Class, maybe the 1 Series. But this is a GTI. Brown car guy. Oh. I mean, this is what it's about, right? Hearing the engine noise, feeling the grunt, feeling the torque, knowing when the torque is coming in because you can hear it from the engine, This is what it's all about. Oh yeah, now we're deploying the power. Feels really good. Speed builds up nicely. Good on the brakes. Oh yeah, turning is nice. You can hold it on the brakes as well. It's quite. I would like some more weighting on the steering. That would be nice. But other than that, I mean, even leave it in the gearbox to its own devices, and it feels fantastic. But again, this is a small road with a kind of rough surface, but it's very settled. It's very reassuring. Again, going back to the paddles, you can really control the gears. You can hear the revs jump as you go downshift. But the brakes are so good as well. Very accurate. Now, if I was to find a complaint with it, I would say that it could do with a sort of sharper, a little bit more sharpness. A little bit more fierceness about it. I mean, that's kind of like what you might want from it. But this is a sort of GTI where it's kind of like the best compromise between something that you can drive, you can just potter around through a village here at 30 miles per hour, no problem, still in sports mode, and it's absolutely fine. I mean, actually, if we try the different modes, which is here, and if we put it into comfort, I mean, actually settled down more. The steering got lighter. And the ride really kind of settled down. So even the jitteriness that was there just immediately disappeared. So there you go. It does have quite a bit of difference, actually. But I think I definitely prefer it in sports mode. But it's definitely one of those cars that is a great compromise between something that you can just use every day, and it's completely fuss-free, on top of being able to come out and enjoy it every now and then, So let's hold it in manual. So it does say M there, and it wants me to change up, so it's giving you an indication there as well. So nice sweeping curve here. Change it down into third. Turn it in. Holds very, very nicely. Absolutely planted. You can accelerate through it. Oh, that sounds good. Right. Straight into another left bend, sweeping on the brakes, turning it in on the accelerator, turns in, pivots back in again, and again nicely, just held completely smooth. Oh, very good. Yeah, this is definitely a GTI. Definitely a GTI. Oh, it has steering correction as well. Obviously, it's got all of the lane. Now, the good thing about it's obviously got lane keep assist. I just detected it, but it's pretty much all of these systems have been unintrusive, which is what you want on a sports hatchback. You don't want it like impinging too much on the driving experience. So it's sort of all there in the background, but it's sort of not making itself known, which is kind of how you want it, really. Certainly how I want it. Just really chucking it into a corner. It's so cool how it just holds onto the front. The front just grips and brings it right around. It's you can really deploy the power much earlier, into a corner, never mind coming out of it, than you might expect. Very good. So overall then, I think, the Golf GTI is still a Golf GTI. That's nice to know. It's still a great car. It's a lot of money. I have to say, I'm really kind of staggered by, the price now. £40,000 for a Golf GTI. I think for a lot of people that'd be a stumbling block, But and also the fact that when you get the car, it is pretty much everything that you expect, but it doesn't quite give you that edge, that take it to the limit edge every time sort of car. It'd be interesting to see what the Golf R is like and see if that actually gives you that as much more than this does. But overall though, it's certainly in no sense is it a disappointing car, and in no sense would you be unhappy to have one. And certainly, find a nice day, nice road, quieter than I've encountered today, and I think that you would definitely enjoy this car. I think the way that it grips and performs is fantastic. Numbers on paper don't seem so great, but in the real world, it's still a fun car to drive. So overall, a thumbs up for the Golf GTI, with the proviso that it could be not so expensive and maybe a little bit sharper. Check this out, guys. It's my book. It's my first novel, and it's written for car fans like you. It's a fun political action thriller. It's full of cool cars and spectacular action. Get your copy now at Amazon.com.